in your series, Somebody Somewhere. Am I saying it right? Somebody Somewhere. I keep.
Yeah, you are.
I have panic over it. I was up last night.
It's a very generic title. People have a hard. I have a line in my stand-up that one time a guy just goes, "Hey, nobody nowhere," and I'm like, does he know the show, or
is that seeing
hear my
soul?
inner monologue?
Yeah, exactly. Or you seeing? I thought no one could see it through the facade. Exactly.
I'm trying here, sir.
I'm not particularly great at this yet.
Are you just starting?
I've done several episodes, but this is really, we're working it out. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I've done several episodes now, so I think I got to quit saying I'm just starting because I should fucking have it down by now. But it's I think the greatest joy of my show business career.
Really?
And equals the pay I've had on most of my jobs in my show business career. Yeah, no.
Is there a theme or a hook or something like that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Thanks for asking. Are we rolling?
Yeah, we're going.
We're rolling. So
now.
let me just kind of bring both of my audience members in on this. Hi, everybody. It's your boy Mark, Bonfire Talks podcast with my producer, Kaylin Bean, over there, making sure everything stays on the rails. And I'm really excited to have a guest. Sorry. I could have just stopped there. Really excited to have a guest. But specifically, I'm really excited. And I was just saying before we started rolling that I'm a little starstruck because, when you see somebody being brilliant, you hold them in high esteem, and then you try to have a normal conversation, and that feels weird. So I'm going to just embrace the weirdness. Jeff Hiller is my guest. Hello, Jeff.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am, I'm, the answer should be fine, thank you.
I actually appreciate that. You're like really examining yourself and being like, how am I?
Yes, really. Let's just take a look at that. How am I? And, can I get back to you on that answer?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'm really so excited to talk to you, and I'll first tell the audience why we're talking specifically, but we won't spend a whole lot of time. So those of you who've seen me on Temptation Island or whatever, I'm happy to announce I'm an actor now. So, declaration. And I'm wicked good at it. I got called a while ago from these two great writer-producers about a movie that they had written that had shades of send-up, kind of a mockumentary vibe of Antiques Roadshow. So they wanted me to come on and play a version of the host from that on this show. So I got invited to be in this movie, and I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Let me know if it becomes a thing. I'm telling you this, Jeff, because this was me trying to be a big deal and just completely screwed myself. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. They were like, would you like to be executive producer? Would you like to be a part of this? I said, yeah, and I met with them, and I loved it, and I thought the script was great. My agent was like, look, we don't know if this is going to be a thing, and so just chill. So I chill and I act like I'm someone, and then like a year and a half later, I get this email saying we need to arrange your travel. And I'm like, who is this? And this is that movie. And so I'm like, okay, now I'm committed. I'm going to go do this movie. I had met with Keith and Marissa, Keith Garchuk and Marissa Guterman, who wrote and directed this beautiful little movie. And I really liked them, but I really didn't think it was a thing. And then all of a sudden it was like, you're traveling to Cleveland next week. And I'm like, I better read the script again. And I'm like, okay. And then I start getting, attitude. I'm like, what have I got myself into? It's like a student film. Is there anyone in it? So, and because as a big star of reality TV on cable, I needed to have that flex. So I said to Keith and Marissa, trying to be cool, I'm like, hey, I'm really excited. So who's in it? Like, can you share the cast? This is why I'm now getting to talk to the incomparable Jeff Hiller today, is that the cast, and I'm going to just name drop the fuck out of this, is...
That was a lot of names to drop.
Really good, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
And then I want to hear how you heard about this and agreed to do it. But Martin Sheen, Dennis Haysbert, Academy Award nominated June Squibb, Stacy Keach, Loretta Devine, who icon. Why do I have my glasses? Huge. Santino Fontana, a huge Broadway star, and I forgot that. Pardon me.
Tony winner.
John Lovitz. I mean, the list goes on and on. And I'm like, okay, so this is legit. Right. And when I showed up on set, completely out of my element and realizing I don't know how to do when they tell you words and you say them back. I don't know how to do that part. You have to know that's a huge leap. I mean, and you come from improv, so I think but you're more of an actor. So I was like, yeah, okay, so I don't know what I'm doing, and I've really fucked up now.
Well, wait, what do you do when you're on a reality show? Don't you have to have a script or something? You don't have like a...
That's adorable.
You don't have like an earwig or something?
I do have an earwig. I do, but it's mostly notes and occasionally, shut up and move on. But no, there's no script at all in my life.
Wow.
Never has, rarely have I gotten, say these words and then we will pay you money. Say them in a way that's believable. And only a couple times have I been thrown into situations where I've had to do that. And I found it really, it's such a different skill set. So anyway.
Well, it is a different skill set, but I feel like most people would be like, oh, give me the words to say. And the scary part would be like, I just have to talk to you.
Yeah.
I would think that would be much more scary, but I guess not.
I think there are a lot of things about me that are counterintuitive. I think generally that might be the theme.
That's the theme of this podcast.
or my life and broken into episodes. My phone's ringing. It's usually my brother-in-law pocket dialing me, but not today.
That happens once a show, by the
Literally
way.
once a show, right, Caitlin?
Yeah.
I don't hear from him for months, and then he calls when I'm in the middle of an interview. Let me get back to you, because I wanted, before you have to go to your several meetings today. And thanks for making time, by the way, Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
When I arrived, I think the day before I was shooting, I went to the set, and you were shooting your scene, and I forgot your partner in the...
Rory O'Malley.
Rory O'Malley.
A Tony nominee, yeah.
From Book of Mormon, I think, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, brilliant Broadway star. My wife was flipping out. Anyway, my first scene to watch was the two of you doing your scene, where you're appraising this big statue. And I was both inspired and wanted to leave. Because the grace, you guys were just so good. And first of all, I recognized you, so that made me really, I don't know a lot of famous people, so that really scared me. And you were so great at it and really funny. I guess I should tell the people what the movie is. The movie is called Lost and Found in Cleveland.
Right.
It is this lovely allegory. It's a Christmas movie. It takes place in Cleveland, and it's several different stories, like 4 or 5 stories that intersect at this America's most watched television appraisal show, which is where I come in. And you play an appraiser. How did it come to you, Jeff?
Same as you. We're just Marissa and Keith reached out, and I didn't know them previously. I think maybe the show I'm on might have just been airing while they were searching for talent, and so they just put my name on the list, and that never happens. I don't ever get offers, so I was like, yes.
Same. Usually I have to go, are you sure you're asking the right Mark Wahlberg? Yeah, I'm glad that you find humor in that, because that's my hell. I live it every day.
Have you ever gotten requests for that Mark Wahlberg? Have they been like...
All the time. Every day. First of all, I get blamed for hate crimes I did in the 80s.
But also, do people just like love that bodacious bod of yours?
I get people DMing me half nude pictures showing me their progress. I swear to God, this is a daily occurrence. But my favorite within the industry is I was at William Morris for many, many, many years. But in the unscripted department, which was an entirely different thing. But the head of William Morris, Jim Wyatt, like the head,
Right.
every now and then I would get this call. Hi, this is Joe from Jim Wyatt for Mark. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm a client, but and it dawned on me that they were trying to poach Mark Wahlberg from his agency to come to William Morris. And so they're setting up these lunches and stuff. So I'm like, I have such inside scoop right now. So I think I responded saying, yeah, I'm really grateful to get the call, and I am a client, but I don't think I'm the person you are calling. So if he'd like to have lunch, I'd love that.
I'll see you at the Ivy.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm no longer there, by the way.
Did you see that that Tom Holland thing? Did you see that?
No, but
where Tom Holland is an actor who just played, he was in White Lotus.
Sure.
And then Tom Hollander is the kid who plays Spider-Man in the Marvel movies.
Tom Holland's a really attractive guy in White Lotus who had the girlfriend. And is that right?
No, he's the mean gay who's trying to kill.
Right.
And then he just played Capote in Feud.
Right. Exactly.
I think you might have it backwards though. Tom Holland is Spider-Man.
Tom Holland is
you just did the bit.
I did the thing. And so anyway, they were with the same agency briefly, and he got like a check stub saying like, this has been direct deposited into your account for his bonus for the Marvel films.
Right.
And
I saw that.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. All I get is I just had a burger at Wahlburgers and it sucked. I'm like, I can't help you. And I am because I am chronically a people pleaser. Every time I get a DM from random people, either complaining or needing, I have a pitch or I have a sick child, whatever it is, I go and write a full, I'm not the Mark Wahlberg you're looking for, but I feel your pain and I wish I could help, but here, maybe this is how you can find him. And maybe I get an emoji back or something. That's about it.
Oh, I really identify with that.
Well,
I really identify that where you're like, oh, I have to help you. And then they're like, I don't care.
Who cares? You're not the one I wanted anyway. How could you possibly help? You don't get up at 2:30 to work out in the morning. How could you help me? You don't have an app for prayer. I'm like, no, I'm the Jewish one.
Yet. You don't have an app for prayer yet.
No, I don't. You talked about, you just mentioned about we're the same. I have to let you know that I almost sobbed tears of joy at the first episode of your show with Bridget Everett, the greatest.
Thank you.
It's so good, and I'm constantly realizing on my podcast, I out myself because there's the part of me that tries to be like this guy on TV that, has some swagger and flex, but the fact is I'm not that dude at all. And so the fact that you guys are friends that she didn't remember from high school show choir, I feel so seen. Because
were you in show choir? That's a shock.
Was I?
Is that true?
Come on. Are you kidding?
Wow, this is like some real revelation, vulnerability here.
I'm bearing it wide open for you because I feel safe. I was in show choir in high school.
I was too.
But I was in show choir because they were short a guy. I had been gone. I moved to a different high school. I came back for my senior year. And in the summer, they were short a guy in the show choir. And they didn't know if I could sing, but they were like, he's adorable, so let's put him in. And I could sing okay. And so, and moved. So show choir, full on. And we were the shit, I thought. Now I look back, I'm like, well, maybe not so much. But
did you go to like competitions and stuff, regionals, whatever?
You're unaware. Yes, we did. Show choir, first of all, I'm older than you, so show choir was a relatively new thing. It wasn't like the competitions were up. But then, so that was high school. It was perfect. I had my crowd of theater camp nerds that I hung out with all the time when I wasn't trying to be a jock or something. and let's face it, and theme parties and singing and loving to go to Denny's at 2 a.m. and pray to God we had a reason to break into 6-part harmony to sing Ease on Down the Road from the show, right? I don't know if were you in show choir? You weren't. You're just playing the role.
I absolutely was.
Well, thank
I
God.
absolutely was. But the difference is, Mark, that you were in it and it was like, that's so cool that guy decided to do that thing. Like, he didn't need to, but he's like the coolest sports guy and he did that thing. Whereas I was like the person that was like the reason that everyone doesn't like
You're the prototype? Well, yes. I love that you think I was that dude, but the fact is, if you were to ask my classmates, I think I was probably like, I think those in the athletics world were like, he's finally found his home, But I didn't want to tell him.
Well, one year I was not in show choir, and the reason why is I was the only boy that auditioned, and so, so they just made it all girls.
I love it. Which would, of course, be the Barton Bellas, because that's
exactly.
I'm just going.
No, I would have loved to have been a Barton Bella. I would have puked. That weird. You remember that in the movie?
Do I remember? There's few movies: Godfather, Anchorman, Pitch Perfect. Okay, that's my 3.
I love Pitch Perfect. I know the writer of it, but also it's so funny because our line producer, who's also like a straight dude, who's really like, kind of gruff, and his favorite movie is Pitch Perfect.
My son, who's a Navy pilot, grizzled combat warrior, can sing the whole thing and does the motions and everything.
With the cups and everything.
I got my ticket to the long. So
I love it.
So I leave high school and then I go to college for several weeks. And not even a stretch. And because I need to drop this in to see if your eyes light up or you go, oh, Jesus, he's one of those. So while in college, this touring, singing, and dancing group, which was like show choir on steroids, called...
It wasn't Up With People, was it?
Young Americans.
Okay, yes.
And we talk shit about Up With People. Because Up With People was like, you could be in this group and not know how to sing or dance. You don't have to read a chart. You could just be happy and you're in Up With People. We're performers. And that's what brought me to California.
That is...
Yeah.
I really feel like I know you in a different way now.
Yeah. I can't believe that's what I was excited to talk to you about. So anyway, just know that when I was watching somebody somewhere, and that was your connection, that you were the guy that she was the diva and didn't really remember you from high school, and then you become best friends. Just struck every chord. I was both characters all the time. And
did you see season 2 as well, or just
no? That's tonight. I'm so excited about it. You
My
guys have falling
boyfriend
out
in the show, the guy who plays my boyfriend in season 2, sorry, spoiler alert.
It's okay. I don't remember things. It's all right.
Well, he was in Young Americans. He was also in Young Americans.
When? Like, how old is he? And do I know
He's
him?
in his 60s, so he might be a little older than you.
That's adorable.
I mean, he definitely is older than you, but I think he might have done it much earlier than you.
I don't know, because I, too, am in a number I don't like to say out loud.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yep. I'm the last person on TV.
Keeping it tight.
Yeah.
Dude, his name is Tim Bagley.
What?
Tim Bagley.
Well, Tim Bagley, I know. I can't say that I know him very well because he was in the group just a couple years before me, but he is in all of the Young Americans alumni. He is like, oh, Tim Bagley. We all know Tim Bagley is a star. And I am that.
Well, wait till you watch season 2, baby.
Well, and he shows up every let me talk about you for a minute, Jeff, because what I adore, first of all, in our movie, you're hysterical. And what I love about this movie, Lost and Found in Cleveland, is that there are so many big talents that have relatively small roles. It doesn't carry all the way through. Dennis Haysbert has a bigger role, but Martin Sheen has a scene, and you guys have a couple scenes, and I have a scene with John Lovitz. And that's what makes it really this beautiful ensemble thing. And You're so funny. I even saw you create a moment. It was just one line where you asked, we add this? And it was hysterical. And I just watched you work and like took all the notes. But the couple things I wanted to say to you. First of all, instantly in your series, Somebody Somewhere. Am I saying it right? Somebody Somewhere.
You are.
I have panic over it. I was up last night. So.
It's a very generic title. People have I have a line in my stand-up that one time a guy just goes, "Hey, Nobody Nowhere," and I'm like, oh. Does he know the show, or
is that seeing
hear my
soul?
inner monologue?
Yeah, exactly. Or you're saying, I thought no one could see it through the facade. Exactly.
I'm trying here, sir.
Your character there is so... My wife and I got choked up watching you. Such a pure, loving, positive, pained character. And I get the sense there's a lot of you in that character, that who you actually are is a lot of that as well. Not the pain part, but the just... Okay.
I mean, definitely, there's a lot of pain there too. But I think he is. It's funny. I took like an acting class for like how to audition for pilots, and the woman was like, she's like a very fancy lady at ABC, and she was like, you're not going to probably be cast in a character that is different from you, who's radically different from you. You're probably going to be cast in a character who's kind of like you and have your essence, because they want to have that for 7 years or whatever.
Sure.
If you're auditioning for a TV show. And I was like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
There's a character like me?
That limits my possibilities. So
exactly.
Action movies are out.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, that like limits so much. Like, but this character is weirdly a lot like me. I mean, so much so that I was like, I feel like maybe they wrote this character for me, and then they were like, no, we did not. They were very, very upfront, but they were like, we had no idea who you were. You were not on our minds when we wrote this.
Could have lied. It would not have been that hard to say, you're right, Jeff. It was you all along. We saw your stand-up.
Exactly.
Had to have you. There are things about you and your career that I can identify with, and then you give me hope, is that you as an actor and comedic actor, stand-up, improviser, and actor, have been a journeyman, and that you've been in everything. We know you from all of these episodes or small arc storylines, but now you're essentially the co-lead in this beautiful, funny, dark series. And the moment where I lost my shit, in a jockey hetero way.
Totally. I got that.
Thanks. Was when you get her up to sing at the choir practice for the first time.
Yeah.
And then your counterpoint, not the counterpoint, but it's a duet. And then your verses. I just was like, I want him to be my friend. I want you to sing that with me. Because
that's how I'm not like Joel. I can't look at someone and be like, you know what, you need to sing. I'm not.
Well,
that part, unfortunately, is the part that I'm not like the character.
I think and by the way, that's good for all mankind, because I've recently seen video of me when I was in the Young Americans. And it was a Christmas show that I was like, kids, you got to see this. We were so fucking good. And I put it in, and I'm like, what director allowed this to happen in front of people? And specifically me. What part of this did you say was appropriate for other people to witness?
This is so deep that is how you got into the biz. It's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
That you were the Young Americans.
Oh,
and then how did that translate into being like this ultimate host?
Okay. You want to know how it happened and what my story about it is. How it happened was, I go to the Young Americans for this summer stock. It's the movie theater camp. It's everything you think. It's a little bit of Waiting for Guffman. It's all of these things. And I go there clueless. And And but adorable. I was adorable. I literally was wearing a shirt for the first day. This is like bad therapy session. I was wearing a shirt that said in small letters R-E, big letters M-A-R-K, A-B-L-E. Remarkable.
Oh, that is just so sweet. It could give me a cavity.
Right. It was bad. It's so bad. And then I don't know that. Now we have to audition for the summer. I thought I was already I have no clue. I just got on a bus. They said, come. I hated my life. I came. Right. And so
it was them and not a cult.
Well, there are those who argue. A very fine line. Very fine line. Ask Tim Bagley.
Yeah, I've been a part of those organizations too.
Yes. So I get up to sing. They finally call my name and I have to sing. I'm not very good at it. I sing. I sing from a chorus line. I'm watching Cisco Pitter Pat, a dance song that I also don't do with tacits. Ta, 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 in the middle of the song that everybody had to sing along with a shirt saying remarkable. And I look like a 115-pound Jewish Q-tip. I'm this thin and my hair is this big and I'm just doing my best. This is not what I needed to share with you.
I would have hired you too.
So in the process, they realize he's not good at singing. Maybe he can move, but maybe he can talk. So as I get in the group, any transition, they would literally go, as I got further on in the group, and it was like, you were going to do a medley of 40s music. Now we're going to do a medley of 60s music. Say something to make that happen.
You just had to improvise it?
Yeah. They know. Yeah. This is why.
Once again, no script.
I thought that was how things go. And that's how I became America's famous host that everyone loves. Now, really,
it's kind of deep, actually.
I thought
how many people are in Young Americans at a stretch or whatever?
At the time, there would be like 100, and you'd have to audition for groups of 30 to do whatever show was coming up. So you'd have to constantly audition, and the same great singers would get in, and then I would somehow make it in, and then they cut me from the show, and they'd bring me back for one number because they needed an audience participation thing, and then they would cut me from the show again, and I'm like, I'll just sit at Del Taco while you guys rehearse until I have to pick you up to take you back to the apartment. So whatever.
That is...
Yeah,
crazy.
It's both.
Like if you were going to pay me $1,000,
you would have never guessed that.
Yes.
Really?
Never.
Really?
Never.
And see, the difference is, I saw you. I said, I think we're long lost best friends. I think he's everyone I know. This is really what my takeaway when I saw you on set was, is that I don't know how to say. I think we're supposed to be best friends.
The thing is I would have done Young Americans in a heartbeat.
And you would have been a star.
But I didn't know about it. I didn't know about it until I was too old to be in Young Americans. Until it was no longer, it would have just been Americans.
just Americans. Some great talent came out of that, and a lot of other people. And I was somewhere in the middle. But
well, you're still doing it. You're still doing it.
Me and Tim Bagley. We're the stars.
You're the stars.
Nia Peoples from Fame. Do you remember Fame?
Yes, and I know Nia Peoples too. I mean, I don't know her, but I know who she is.
Yes, she was in Young Americans.
It's huge.
Yes. I'm trying to think of... Vicki Lawrence was one of the originals.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can we stop? I really just don't want to talk about this part. It's a little...
I think you really need to let it out.
Obviously, I do need to talk about this, but this was not what this interview was going to be. What I was happy for when I started to read a little bit about and look at some stuff that you've done, that you came out of improv, you came out of musical theater, very near and dear to my heart. So many of my friends are improvisers from Second City, Upright Citizens Brigade. You were UCB alum. And then just like Tim Bagley, we see you in everything, right? Which is
not like Tim Bagley, but I've been around.
But now
he's been in everything.
Everything. And every time he's on, there's an echo throughout all of the Midwest going, oh, he was a Young American. We're like this. But now are offers just coming? Is it different? And how are you dealing with the fact that you've been the star of a big HBO show now for 2 seasons?
Yeah.
And other stuff.
I don't know if it's a big HBO show. It is an HBO show.
To me, HBO and big go together. I think it's
that's true.
But it's whether it's popular or going to be a 15-year run or not is not the point. The point is who you are in it is. It's got
humongous fans. It's got fans that are like all in. And I'm so grateful for that. But it's also, it's a small show. But are offers pouring in? No. But some have come.
Yeah.
Some have come, which is completely different. I mean, this movie, I did a thing on American Horror Story where I played a serial killer.
Yes.
And that was just an offer, which is hilarious.
I get that. I get it from the point of, I understand being the audition guy. Like I've been that a lot in my career where, hey, there's a gig, you're up for it with 10 other guys that look like you, and maybe you get it, maybe you don't. And just getting an offer only is like, I have arrived. You know?
I mean, it was shocking. It was shocking.
Shocking.
In the past, I'd gotten like an offer because basically it was such a small role they didn't want to have to audition someone. but I've never gotten an offer for like a big, huge thing like that.
Yeah, I understand the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. It's and I now, like, when I do my stand-up shows, I don't have to be like someone's opener. I can be the headliner, which is radically different than what I've
do you still love
slogged through in the past?
Yes, I understand. I totally get it. My opening line is, "I'm not the Mark Wahlberg you hope for. Let's get over that." That's basically how it has to start for me. And I've been on TV for 40 fucking years. Yeah, so that's awesome. How do you still love doing stand-up?
Yeah.
Your stand-up is not really traditional stand-up. It's not like set up and joke. It's a lot of storytelling. It's
it's like alt comedy, I suppose. I mean, there were jokes.
Certainly.
Like, I have a lot of jokes, but it's not like, what's the deal with? It's more let me tell you about this story.
The story that happened to me. I saw one of the early ones about conflict, or how it was a bit you did about how you are against conflict of any kind, and that's why you said yes to this competition, because saying no was conflict, and that I thought that was hysterical. I love that you come out of stand up and improv and all of that. What moved me is how fine of an actor you are. Like, it's one thing, and you know what was interesting is that my wife said that the beginning of this gave her kind of Schitt's Creek feeling, that there was a vibe with the music and this thing, but similarly that all the over-the-top comedy part plays like that. And then there's this realness that happens that's so raw and connected that I had to believe that you and Bridget are best friends in real life. Because there could not be, those moments could not have happened unless, well, you may be really, really good at acting.
I hate her. No,
Bridget, who?
No.
I've been carrying her on his shoulders for 2 seasons.
I can't wait to get out of this contract.
I'm telling you.
No, I think we were friendly before we started it, but we were she wasn't even on my phone. It wasn't like we were close by any means, but we did foster a lot of it. We lived in the same house, and we
on purpose to do this.
Yeah, to like have chemistry and things like that. But I think also we just, because we do improvise. I mean, we don't improvise kind of in the like, normally when you think improv, you think like, outrageous and super silly and wild, and we improvise more in a way that's like, here's the script, say these things, but make sure that you say them in a way that it makes it sound like it's really coming from you. Yes. And
you're not married to the words.
Jokes.
Yeah,
exactly. They're like how you would actually laugh with your best friend. And so with that idea, it's easy to create chemistry and be and have fun with each other.
That-
And you know, they edited it in a way that makes it look like we're really good friends, even though
okay.
we're rarely on the set at the same time.
Yeah, okay. The false humility is not your best look. The fact is, it's impossible to create the moments that move me to laughter and tears without really going there. And it still not my brother-in-law.
My sister just called me. We're having a lot going on.
Really? Tell her I said hey. There are moments in the car where you're cracking each other up, and things like that, that are so pure that I guess what it brings up for me is the joy I see when I see two best friends really having the unspoken language of love. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
and
what-
that was the whole point of season 1, was like, it's a love story that's platonic.
Yes.
And I think we did that well.
You did it.
Good.
You did it emotionally. It really moved both my wife and me.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And can I just say,
Yes.
a lot of times people are like, I don't know if I want to watch this show. It's going to be sad. And it's really not. It's not a painful watch. It's not like watching, you know, whatever, that Nazi movie or whatever.
I was just going to say, when my wife and I pick movies, exactly. It's the one where they live next to the Nazis.
That's exactly. What is it called?
Nazi adjacent, I think is what it's called.
I mixed up the Tom Holland and Hollander. I can't think of the Nazi movie with Sandra Hüller.
And all I can think anyway, we have a
Zone of interest.
Yes, zone of interest. Thanks. This may be a cognitive test that I have failed, and I may go straight to my internist right after this because I'm at those years. Robbie and I, my wife and I, have this running joke that she doesn't get, but it's funny to me, that when it's time to pick movies, I pick anything with I either pick Pitch Perfect or anything with Will Ferrell because I want to escape any thought of any kind. And I said to her the other day, your favorite movie would be a Holocaust movie where a Nazi kills a dog that's dying of cancer. That's the one you love, right? I can't understand that misery. I really just want to escape to some island somewhere between Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Pitch Perfect. That's where I want to live, is somewhere with brief nudity and comedy is basically what I want.
But have you seen Fast Times recently? It's it's much darker than you remember.
Yes, there are underage kind of rape stuff going on. It's like there's a lot of bad things. Yeah, and that's, by the way, very, very in line with what my childhood was. My teenage years, not even a stretch.
Wow.
Yeah, again, that's not what I thought this would be. Was this just...
Wait, where'd you grow up? Were you in Southern California?
No, South Carolina. I was a Jewish.
South Carolina.
I was a Jewish guy in a show choir in South Carolina. Straight.
You're a real unicorn.
Yeah.
Yes. A Jewish straight guy in a show choir in South Carolina.
That's what my wife said. Is like, I found a straight Jewish guy who loves show tunes. I've hit the jackpot. I said, first of all, the Venn diagram of women who find that attractive is small.
You hit the jackpot too.
I think I'm going to take this and just ride this wave as long as I can because my options are not that big. I
loved your wife, by the way.
Thank you.
Met on set. She's the best. She really is great.
She's of the New York ilk. She's a Broadway. She was in the original Barnum. I'm sure she gave you her resume, as I always do. And so, yeah, we all connected there. I think.
By the way, she didn't give me a resume. You did.
Well, because
which I thought was really very sweet.
Well, I know now how to keep her happy. It's her love language. She comes by it honestly. I wanted to say something about the comment you're saying about the sadness of somebody somewhere. Is that it's, how do I say delicious sadness? I think I've just said it. But this is the part about your character specifically that brings me joy and hope, is that all of us have pain that we either wallow in, as her character tends to do,
Right.
or rise above despite all evidence that things will be better.
Right.
In the scene where she blows up your vision board in season 1,
Right.
it's so cruel what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it hurts your feelings so deeply. And yet everything coming out of her mouth has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with what she's hopeless
Yeah,
about.
that's really astute, actually. Yeah, that's
thanks.
a really good point.
But it, for the viewer, is a delicious sadness. And what I mean is that we don't like the wallowing in pain, zone of interest sadness, not fun.
I'm sorry. Can you hear that?
What is that?
Well, I live in New York City, and it's just a long fart. Someone is redoing their apartment.
Oh,
very nearby.
Listen,
I'm going to give you.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I'm going to give you a little mute. You can talk.
No, it's okay. I don't mind that because normally every interview I do for every job I have has 2 poodles barking in the background. So that's just what happens in my house. So please don't. What I meant by delicious sadness that you embodied as an actor, is you gave me a way into we all live a duality. We all can be the beacon of hope that you are, and that you're doing Zumba in your own garage that you've made into a workout thing is just to say, look, Candace will not beat me. And you know what I mean? I bloom where I'm planted.
Right.
But even when she shits on the vision board, it's not that you don't acknowledge the fact that there are some truths to what she's saying. Your character acknowledges the sadness that, yes, but I'm choosing different. And that's what I talk about, a delicious sadness where we can feel seen in the fact that, yes, we both have we all have deep sadnesses. And we then get to make a choice about, do we wallow in them as some of our friends do? Or are we the ones that say, despite all scientific evidence that we're doomed, we shall choose to carry on? And I found
me in my house.
Pardon me?
We delude ourselves and carry on.
That's it. I'm from the South. Delusion and carrying on should be, that's like our don't tread on me, should be on our flag. But the realness that you were able to bring to that character moved me, and I was excited to tell you that. And thank you for your performance.
Thank you. That's so nice. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. So, okay, I think I've done all the gushing I need to do for this episode.
Well, I could gush much more about hearing your show choir roots. Very impressed by that.
I can't even begin to tell you the stories. I mean, they go on and on and on. And here's the thing about that connection is that those people I was in the group, I was 19 years old. I moved to California, and I moved to California because of this and to get away from things I've now had to work through in therapy that weren't that deep. But what I found is in that show choir world, and this is why I connected to the story as adults coming from that, is that in this young American world, so many of those of us who decided to do that journey as opposed to college and degree and all those things were these characters that needed to take a different tack, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly.
It's not running away from something, but running to something, or discontent, or bigger aspirations, or running from, and all of the above. And that's been my family for the past 40 years. We grew ourselves up since I'm 18
right,
years
because you have to find your own family when you're a little bit weird, you have to. I mean, not saying that I don't have a great biological family.
As do I.
I'm just saying,
As do I.
Exactly. But like there is something about this this weird artist thing in you where you do have to search out other people like you and mingle with them while someone drills in an apartment next door to you.
I think that so much of what's informed me in the work that I'm doing now, I'm doing this reality show and have been doing for several years this reality show that's this crazy dating, sexy, nutso show, But what I've been
familiar.
called to do in it is to have conversations that are real and emotional, and I love that. I'm really, really, really grateful. That's why this podcast is a way to just take small talk and turn it into not so small talk,
Right.
But what I found is that family of choice, as opposed to family of birth, both are important and both are dear to me. But the family of choice is the one that has grown me up. And it's those people that either were not included, felt excluded, were abused or forgotten, or those whose light was brighter than the land they were in and then chose to shine. So both sides, those really empowered, bright lights, and all of us have both. I think all of us, all of you, I'm looking at the camera now because that's what we do. Regardless of art or not, is that that's the friction of life that either drives us or kills us, is that the dark and the light constantly banging into one another.
And I think like your biological family kind of teaches you how to live, and when you find that chosen family, it's your choice.
That's right.
How to live and what's important to you, and of course it's influenced by your growing up, but I think that it becomes deeper because it is an active choice rather than a choice thrust upon you.
Yes, and often the choices thrust upon you is why you actively choose the different family. But I think that's a very astute point too. I think that we find a tribe where we feel seen and can see others and feel safe, and that's the journey. Speaking of journeys, this movie, we don't know when it's coming out. Lost and Found in Cleveland is the movie that I'm thrilled to share. Not a scene with, that would have been fabulous. Although
did we not have a scene?
We did
were
not.
Just there on
yeah,
the
we
same
kind of
day.
did. There's one big group scene, but we don't interact. I start the scene off, and then you see Martin Sheen, and you kind of fangirl on Martin Sheen a little bit. Really great. My scene was with John Lovitz, which scared the shit out of me because John Lovitz's character of who you see could be off-putting, but in fact, he's just the sweetest guy ever, and was
he was quite shy, wasn't he?
Very
He was
shy. But you don't know if he's doing a bit or if he's just being real. And I was so not comfortable. And I got in the van at 5:30 in the morning to go to set. Again, all of this is a new experience. I guess that's what movies are, where you get in a van and go to set, and then the driver tells you about all the stars he's met. But I had met John Lovitz once before, and so I'm trying to bond. Like, I'm so nervous. I'm like, he kind of looks up. It's like 6 a.m, so he's not all there. And I'm like, hi, I'm Mark. And he's like, hello, I'm John. And I'm like, yes, I think we met on Dr. Phil when we did this bit, and my wife Dr. Tapp. And he's like, yeah. And that was it. And I'm like, so no connection. I'm like, I am so fucked. And then we get...
By the way, great Lovitz. That was really impressive.
Thank you. One word. Just do the one word.
It's a MIDI impression.
Yeah. Less is more. If you can nail it in a grunt, that's plenty. But then when I got to set and I saw him working his lines, I went up and just naturally did the next line because it was our scene. He said, sit down, let's do this. And he was like saying stuff to me like, I said, maybe I should try. I want to ask if I can try this. He says, don't ask. Just do it. Just do it. And they'll tell you if they don't like it. And I'm like, okay. And he was so supportive. He was really like giving me the comedy lines. Like, so, and I found that
impressive.
to be, but the whole experience on this little sweet movie was like that. Nobody was carrying the movie, really.
Right.
So everybody was, and we were all happy, kind of enjoying seeing one another. So that vibe was cool.
It was nice. You don't normally, I guess it's more common when you're out of town filming, but it was nice that like we would have big groups of people would go down to the hotel bar and have dinner together or something like that. And it was nice.
I got there till the end of that, and so I didn't get a whole lot of that, but on set was that vibe. Oh, I forgot to mention another star of this movie is Dot Marie Jones, who also, from Glee and from many things. She's doing a play now, I think, in Chicago, and she really was a driving force of, she's just like this kind of mama bear love thing.
She really was.
Right? And so, really great. So the movie is Lost and Found in Cleveland. Jeff Hiller plays an appraiser in it and is just brilliantly funny in everything you do. And is there something new coming that I can, or anything you want to plug, or some things like social media things? What are we supposed to do here? What am I supposed to say?
It's your
Caleb?
podcast.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do stand up around the country. I'm going on a tour this summer. You can check all of the dates at Boom Boom Hiller on Instagram. Are you familiar?
Not very familiar.
Boom Boom Hiller.
Boom Boom Hiller.
By the way,
Who was a stripper in the 40s.
I chose Boom Boom, a long time ago, because I used to be like, boom boom, whenever anything would be slightly dirty.
Yeah.
And I have since learned that many parents called pooping making a boom boom to their children.
Yeah.
And I just want you to know, I did not name it after that.
Thank you for clarifying, which brings up a shame memory for me.
Oh, good.
So this is what my family called it. So I can't poop in public ever again. You could tinkle. Adorable, right? Tinkling is something fun. You do it on the piano. I look forward to tinkling now.
Piano.
Yes. But Boom Boom was called making mess. Do you have to go make mess? No, I just want to wallow in shame in my room. That's what I just want to sit in a fetal position and think about that every time I eat meat, I'm going to destroy the earth. I am the reason the ecology Indian cries. That's a reference from the 70s that nobody will get.
Oh, I know it. The single tear.
Thank you. Just one tear because Mark just messed. That's why I joined the Young Americans. Where we poop sunshine and glitter.
It's intense.
Yeah.
My husband's family called it making water or making bubbles to pee, not to poop. I don't know what he called poop. That is sweet, right? But making mess is.
But at a 3-year-old, when you then go to playtime and they give you actual bubbles, you get a little concerned. So it could be a problem. I think we're going to a very dark place, so I think I'm going to try to wrap it up here.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Jeff Hiller, consider me your newest big fan, possibly stalker. I don't know how to do. I don't know how to do things casually, so just know I will be like, you're gonna get these DMs going. Hey, so funny thing happened to me, just like, so what are you wearing? That kind of stuff.
And I'll be like, I'm not that Jeff Hiller.
No. and you're not that Mark Wahlberg. And let me be the one to tell you, just so you're aware. Thanks for making time.
Thank you for having me.
Everything you do lifts us up, and thank you for that. And
thank you.
And I'm jealous that you're in New York, even with drilling going on next door.
Construction and hammering,
Yeah, I'm very jealous of that. And the movie is Lost and Found in Cleveland, where I am an actor, and I'd like to be treated as such. And Jeff continues his legacy of acting. Jeff Hiller, ladies and gentlemen, thanks, pal.
Thank you.
Please, can we keep in touch?
Yes.
Like if I'm in New York, can we see each other?
You got my info.
Can we if I'm in New York, will you pretend to be my friend? Like, oh hey,
well, bring Robbie.
Fair, totally fair. Okay. On that note, thank you. You're the best.
You.
Take care. Thanks for watching, you guys. That's all I got for you today. It was awesome. Jeff Hiller. Check him out. Boom Boom Hiller. That's not a poop. It's a comic. And we'll see you next week.